Okay, so on this part of the lesson, let's start building up further the character's face. So I'll start here first at the chin. So I'll just select these edges here, 1, 2, 3. So the 3 edges under the chin here, right? So let's start building up. W, shift click and drag downwards to follow that contour of the chin. And then I'll hold shift still and drag going backwards there. So let's say I will press R, scale to line it up straight like that. W for move, careful. And then I will just space bar to have a different view, and then I will carefully adjust my vertices. I can right click here and then I can choose the vertex. So this is one way of shortcutting to the selections. And then since I can access the vertex now, I can carefully select my vertices and then just reposition them following the reference contour as per the front view here, and as per the little one, let's say that's going to be case for this, and then I can drag this going back if ever. Oops, deselect that, and then I'll drag this one at the front. I can do the same here. It is already down. So I can also, oops, deselect that and drag it backwards further. Same case with this. Okay, so saving my work, what I'll do next is I'll select this and I'll drag it towards there and then towards here, there. Okay, and then one last is I'll just right click, switch to the edge selection, then I can select this and this. I can hold shift and right click and I can find the bridge. The bridge is not seen here. If I choose more polygon display, it's not. Okay, so what I'll do, there's the bridge. I'll click bridge, there. I'll go back, press Q. So now I have formed the jaw, the chin area. I can right click, switch to the vertex selection, and W for move, carefully do some toggling just to follow the contours of the face. But it's appearing fine. Okay, so the next thing that I will do now is I will start this time here at the head here. So let's start creating the back of the head. So let's make this so it will not be confusing. Let's just move this vertex a little bit here. We can adjust it later on. And then once again I will right click, I will right click here and then I will choose edge selection, and then I'll select the edge and then I'll hold shift and I will drag it passing the ear. So this would mean this is where the curvature of the head starts. Alright, because we want to curve it going to the back of the head. We want that curvature. Now let's say this is where the curvature of the character starts after that one edge extrusion. And then I'll hold shift and drag it towards that edge there of the reference. There. Then I'll just right click that, switch to the vertex selection, and then just drag this here. Okay, next I'll do a space bar. I'll switch to the top view, panels, orthographic, and then top there. And then I'll select this. Okay, now I want them to be at the center of 3D space, lining up with these vertices here. Okay, so what I'll do is control space bar so that I can access the UCS. So I'll select both of these, and then I can type in here on the x-axis position. I can type in 0 there and press enter there. So now it is aligned. Control space. Let me look at the top view. Space bar to maximize the top view. Now here I will need to create the curvature of the back of the head. But to create the curvature of the back of the head, I will need connections or edge connections. But how many? You will count how many are there here, how many vertices are there, and that's the amount of connections that you will want or you will be placing here. So what I will do is I will right click once more, choose edge selection, and then I can select these edges here. I can hold shift and right click, and then I can choose to connect. Let's say let's choose the connect options here. So sorry, let's just choose right click. Oops, I'll choose right click and connect. Here's the connect tool here, and there's the connect options coming out. So let's say how many connections do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll just type in here 5, pressing enter. So now 2, 3, 4, 5 connections, and then I'll just press close this. I'll press W, and now I have those. I'll right click, and then I'll switch to vertex selection, and then I'll select the vertices. I'll press W and start to move them. Oops, sorry, I'll just move the middle one and start creating an arc out of it, right, to create that rounding form of the character's head as such. Let's say I'll carefully arc it out. I can press number 2 to show, pressing number 2 there, or number 3 so I can see the smoothness. So far that's a good arc for the back of the head, because we do not have a top view reference actually. So saving my work, space bar. So now I have that arc for the head. So what I will do next is I will simply switch to the edge selection, right? And then I can select this edge, for example, and then I will select this edge there, just like that. And then I can choose shift right click, and then there's the bridge there. Click the bridge, pressing Q, so I can select the other one. So let's say the top one here. I can deselect the rest for now. Okay, and then I'll select this one. So both of them, I can shift and right click, and then I can do a bridge, and then I can press Q to switch to the selection, and then I can just continue by selecting the rest, and then I'll just shift right click, do another bridge. Oops, it's not appearing properly. So what I'll do instead is I'll just select them one by one. Right click, oops, sorry, shift right click and bridge. Q, select, shift right click and bridge. Q, shift right click and then bridge. And then one last here and do another bridge. Q. So now I have this. Okay. So now on our next lesson, let's round up the cranial area of the head and also form the rest of the cranial. I'll see you in that lesson.